Cool. Thank you all for coming. My name is Daniel Munoz. Here today, I just want to thank Representative Leonel Felix. We really first connected during the BIPOC mass vaccination weekends, which the administration called the equity-driven vaccination weekends. But clearly, in this crisis, we've seen that there are significant inequities in this country. And those inequities can be addressed, disparities, I would say, lessened, if we have programmatic solutions and programs that actually get the money where the money needs to go. The lessons we learned in the BIPOC mass vaccination weekends, essentially vaccination weekends for Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latino communities that have been racialized in this country, is that community-driven solutions are the right way to go. But as Representative Felix mentioned, people need to get paid. It's unfair that communities continue to get exploited, that they continue to serve as those that triage the community need to the few organizations that have the privilege and the connections to receive the dollars. You know, this is personal for me. I grew up in Central Falls, and as a child, I experienced not only poverty, but homelessness. You know, I experienced what it was like to see boxes out on the street, what it was like to feel at the age of 12 like you were burdening the few family members that wanted to help you but could barely afford to survive themselves. You know, at some point, diplomacy ends when human rights continue to get pushed to the back of the bus. At some point, diplomacy ends. The administration has recently said that they're willing to bend the rules. But on the Equity Council, we've been hearing from Rhode Island Housing and the administration that they've been willing to do that for 6 weeks now. We're 4 months into a program with $350 million available and with only a little over 18 million dispersed. Out of that $18 million that's been dispersed, $6 million has been denied. And we have $30 million worth of need coming down the pipeline that still hasn't been addressed. You know, these are just data points, but I made phone calls to the participating organizations yesterday that are doing the work, that are the grantees. And those organizations aren't at capacity. One person for 3 towns can only complete 12 applications, new applications a week. Is that the capacity that's going to address the $30 million need, which is really just the need that's been applied for, not the need that has not been accounted for? Malcolm X once said, "The truth does not change, our awareness of it does." What we're doing today is trying to share with all of you that there are problems in the system. The problems are thus far. One, that outbound calls, the call center that deals with these applications has had problems. One of the problems is people will receive calls. The outbound or call center will essentially say they don't have documentation, even though the documentation was uploaded. A delay in that documentation can mean a month, 2 months. That's 3 months into an eviction letter. Is that progress? Is that a program that's functioning well? Additionally, you know, we talk about the application process and we aren't addressing language needs the way we should be addressing them. Technology access. Marginalized communities, which inevitably cover every racialized community, people that are poor, elderly that don't have access to emails, are finding themselves in situations where Rhode Island Housing's denial process is hitting them. If they don't respond in 5 days to an email, they get automatically denied. If it took someone 2 weeks to get to the point where they could submit it, how long will it take for them to reapply? These aren't just questions. The proposal today is to work with community organizations like Direct Action for Rights and Equality, like the George Wiley Center, like other organizations that aren't here today that consistently do mutual aid work, and to get the money to those organizations, to have an equity-driven clinic, which specifically, let's acknowledge, is really to serve the most disenfranchised communities, which are Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latino, and yes, our white neighbors that find themselves poor as well. Those that don't act now are going to be held accountable tomorrow. I want everyone to know that. I will hold them, the people on the other side of these cameras will hold them accountable. Thank you, Representative, for standing up.